Okay, good evening, Chavra. Tonight we're going to start from Chaf Alpha and Aleph. As Hashem, tonight, if you did not count Sphere, is the 21st day of the Aymerch, which is a solid 3 weeks. We're going to start from Chaf Alpha and Aleph. The Yesh Chos title about 6, 7 lines from the bottom, 2, 4, 6, 7. The Yesh Chos title Shalish Shalish. So the Mishnah said that there's Machlekes in the Mishnah already, if there's a source that's telling for. Um, no, there's no Machlekes in the Mishnah, there's Machlekes later. There's machlokes later, but our Mishnah holds that there is a schos, and it's either for 1, 2, or 3 years. And the Mishnah is Rabbi Shmuel, and we're going to see what kind of schos we're talking about over here. Schos to my Elam is schos to Torah. Doesn't make sense that the schos Torah would work for her, even if she learned why goes to Anna mitzvah v'isi. She does not have the mitzvah of learning, and even if she does the mitzvah, it wouldn't be strong enough for it to save her in this situation. El is schos the mitzvah. It must be a schos of a mitzvah. Schos the mitzvah. Is it possible for the schos of a mitzvah to be such a protective force? Vatanya Ezel Darish Ezu Darish Rav Menachem Bar Yaisi Kiner Mitzvah Tarar. The famous pasuk Kiner Mitzvah Tarar Tala Kasav Esa Mitzvah Bener Vesatayr Bar. The pasuk is the Rashi says Nimshal. I don't know if it's Rashi. It could be the Mesivta teaches it. Nimshal. The Torah makes a Nimshal Hakasav Esa Mitzvah Bener Vesatayr Bar. As a mitzvah Bener Laimelach Man Ner Enai Nagina or Enai Meir. A candle only lasts for whatever it is. You have full geshmaka candles last for 6, 7 hours. If you have small little candles, last 15 minutes. So mitzvah only protects you for a short amount of time, and we're going to see what that means in a little bit. The eshatayim ba'ar loimelach ma'ar meir la'olam aftayim meir megina la'olam. Torah protects oil. Ar over here is not referring to fire anymore. It's referring to the sun. Ar is the over here is referring to the shemesh. Rashi, I think Rashi says that, but we're not talking about a bigger fire. We're talking about the sun. This is the pasuk we say by a siyum. So this is the full pasuk reads. We're going to dash all 3 parts. We'll see it in a second. No, the Torah protection on Mazah, but in Misa, the Torah also protects you. Like it says, the Asid Lavai. When Mashiach comes and the Tchias Naishan, there's another Dim B'Cheshvan, the Torah protects you in that situation as well. Mashal Adam Shahim Halach Be'ishin Laila Va'afeli. He's going in the darkness of the night. He has a lot of things on his mind. The Gemara is going to list a few different issues that the guy has. That's one set of issues, like the small things to trip and to rip his clothing and to hurt him on the way, and from animals and listening that are actively trying to hurt him. And the guy's lost, right? He doesn't know which way to go. Now, if he has a torch, he gets saved because the small little trips, the small little stumblings along the way, he's not going to get, he's not going to hurt him. And he still has to worry about wild animals and list him. And he's still lost because the avuka just shows him what's in front of him. It doesn't tell. Is that Magala with him where he should go? Even needs a listim. The chayas rows go away and the listim go to sleep. And that's when the sun rises. He still doesn't know which way he's supposed to go. The precious drachim, when he gets to a crossroads with a marked crossroads, now he's out of the woods. Literally, he's saved because he now all 3 again. Obviously, you're talking about the precious drachim in the sunlight. So the Gemara is going to go through the Josh over here, but the basic idea is that the avuka is the ner mitzvah, so that saves him from the small little isurim along the way. The ar is the Torah, and that saves him from the list of mechayas. And the avuk and the parshas drachim, we're going to see the machlekes what that refers to. Davar acher aver mechabel mitzvah ve'en aver mechabel Torah. Shenever mayim rabim lo yichlu lechabes is a hava, and Rashi brings down a pasuk that shows that a hava is Torah. So he said a lot of waters are not going to distinguish the hava, which refers to the Torah. So even a lot of avers can't be mechaber the Torah, but avers could extinguish the protection of the mitzvah. Amar Yosef mitzvah be'idna de'asik ba megan umatzel B'idna the loyasik ba. So loyasik ba aguni magna atzuli matzlei. So Rabbi Yosef says that a mitzvah while you're doing it, it's magna matzah. It saves you from the now, and it's matzah from avera. But in the loyasik ba agna magna atzuli matzah. But it still protects you in some way. But it's not matzah you from nichshol. No, it's still a schus for you. I forgot how Rashi explains the agna. Hold on. Yeah, agna is perennius, and atzuli is the lashon from the Yitzhara. So Torah vein beidin the asikba, or vein beidin the loyasikba, magna matzah. Again, the basically is saying that the nafkamina between Torah and mitzvah and Torah, and you playing off that pasuk of Nechinem mitzvah Torah is bayim mitzvah, which is similar to a ner. While you're doing it, it saves you from perennius and is matzu from the Yitzhara. So you're gonna have special siyat d'shmai not to be shaped into Yitzaharas while you're being Isaac in the mitzvah. But afterward, the mitzvah is done. It still saves you from perennius, but will not save you from the Yitzhara. And the Torah is ben kach or ben kach. It saves you from both. That's what Yosef says. Rava asks, the were two massive in times of David Melech, and they made a huge taurus, and they went to go be right with David Melech. But the Torah, if you're saying that the Torah is Magen Matzah, even when you're not being Isaac, then their Torah that they learned should have saved them from making a toast and going after David. Ela Amarava Torah ma'idna the Asik ba Magen Matzah, but in Lo Yasik ba Aguni Magna Atzule Matzah. So which is Shikha Meduik from the Gemara in Kedushin when it says, I think it's Kedushin or Gittin. It says, no, it says if you visit the Yitzhara Mashkei Lebezdin. What does it say? Something if the nivel mashkei lebezin. If the Yitzhara chaps you, then we're stopped into bismarish. But that means the stuff that you learned yesterday is not going to save you. I don't know if that's a good sushla, but it's just popping into my head. I wanted to share. But he said, so Rabbi's kasha from Dagan Achatayfos, you can't say that the Torah that you learned today protects you tomorrow from Averis. Otherwise, Dagan Achatayfos would have been saved. So obviously, it saves you from maybe Peranius. If you have Schus Torah, you'll get saved from bad things that should have happened. But you will, but it's not going to save the Yitzhar. Mitzvah, bein be'idin dasagba, bein the loy yasagba, aguni magna tzuli matzah. But a mitzvah side by side, whether you're busy with it, even if you're not busy with it, does not help you for that Yitzhara. Ravina Amar lo'olim is first Torah. So now Ravina is going all the way back to the kasha. We said, right, we had a kasha what's chus is a Torah first. So we said it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't make sense. Torah because she doesn't have a schus Torah. She's not mitzvah ayman. She's not mitzvah ayman. She's not mitzvah isa. She's not mitzvah isa. So it doesn't make sense that the schus should be so great for her, even if she does learn the whole day in seminary, that she wouldn't that would be matzel her from this perennius. So we said we start figuring out if it's the mitzvah. We said the mitzvah doesn't have such kleichas, so we're a little bit lost. So Ravina says that it really is chus Torah. We had a problem, so he's going to address that. Give me 1 second. I'll find the place. Ravina Amar La'olim is chus Torah. Udiga Amar Ein Mitzvah right? You had a problem with the fact that she's not Mitzvah. So how can I help her? She was not commanded to learn, but Ba'agra, the Makarion Umasnayan Benayu, by the fact that she pushes her sons to learn and to read Torah and Mishnayos, and they let their husbands and they forgive their Michael Aina to for whatever. Usually they go away for like a month at a time is normal, and they would, or even maybe just a whole week, but they would be out of the house the whole week learning. And they would be Michael. They would let the husbands go. Wouldn't they? Don't they share in their schos? So they're being Messiah, somebody who is mitzvah of Isa, and that schos makes sense that it's talif for her. Okay, again, this is only according to the sheet that holds that it's talif. My parsha is Dachim. So we said under the Mishnah. Oh no, I'm sorry. We said over here Parshas Dachim, right? In our mashal that when it comes to the Parshas Dachim, that's when he saves from everything, right? But the first two we said very good. The first two was mitzvah, was avuka, and the Torah was was the sun. So that made sense in the mashal. What's the Parshas Dachim? What's the third? What's the signage? How does that? What's the mashal for that? What's the nimshal for that? Amar Rav Chizda, that's at the end of the day when somebody was Tam Chacham and feared Ois like Erechid his whole life. At the end of the day, he knows that he's being taken care of. So when it comes to the Parshas Dachim, the parting of the ways, he knows that he's going in the right way. But someone who has years chait, even b'chayav, so he with the Torah he knows what to do, and with the years chait he's going to actually do it. That he's going to be taken care of on all three accounts. I'm not. That's a Talmud Chacham that goes and able to get down to the halacha, takes the sugya down to the halacha l'maisa. Davar acha aver mekabel mitzvah ve'ein aver mekabel Torah. Amar Rav Yosef Dasher Menachem Bar Yosef Lahai Kra Kisinai. He dashed in this pasuk like Sinai. He did it like it's a lashon shvach. He did such a good job. David. So what did Yosef? What did Rabbi Nachman Bar Yosef say? He said that it's mechaba that aver. This is his part that aver mechaba mitzvah and aver mechaba Torah. That's what he says. Where does he say this? Right up here. Hold on 1 second. It's further up. All right. The tiny Zud there was Rav Nachman. He never said Torah. Talar Katzos Mitzvah Never. I guess the Dav Acher is him also. This whole Vard is him. Okay, so he shows Zud there was Rav Nachman. Yes, he never said Torah. Talar Katzos Mitzvah Never as a Torah. This is his part. So if Dagan and Chetafel learned like Rabbi Yossi, like Rav Nachman Yossi, they wouldn't have made the same. They wouldn't have made the mistake. Like Kisina v'Lamali Dasher Dagan and Chetafel Hachi le'Rodfu Basa David Chsiv Leimar Elikim Azavar. They assumed because David Melech was Chayta again, whatever daga that means, whatever madrega, whatever level of mistake it was for David Melech to be Chayta with Bathsheba. They held that he was Baal Neshish, and Hakadosh Baruch Hu left him, and now they can go after him. They wouldn't be punished for it. My Darish, what was their drush? It says La'ir B'char Eres Davar. Hakadosh Baruch Hu said, "I'm going to leave you because I don't want to see anything negative about you." They did not know that David Melech's Schus Torah was going to save him, even though he didn't have whatever that means. Okay, that's it. So Boiz Yavuz, the next pasuk that we're going to dash in, is the end of the pasuk that we said. It's called Kiroiv Mayim. Was Lashon Mayim Rabbi Lo Yichul Kabas is Ahava Ben Haris Leish Betu Im Yitin Ish as called Hain as calling basically Bahava Boiz Yavuz. So basically, the end of the pasuk says that each person is going to give away all his possessions for Ahava and is going to be scorned for it. So my brothers, what does it mean? Amar Ula like Shimon Achi Azariah, like Rav Yochanan the Beinasiyah. These two groups were Azariah was Shimon was a I think Shimon could have been a Tana even. I think Shimon's a Tana, and his brother Azariah was supported him. Like Rabbi Yochanan learned, and the Beinasiyah supported him. So those two shuktim were good. They were okay. It wasn't a Bais Yavuz in that case. But what it's talking about, Ela Hillel v'Shevna. Hillel learned the whole day, and he was a tremendous ani. Rashi brings that from Masechtas Yuma. I think Rashi brings it then. That it was in Masechtas Yuma, it shows the anias of Hillel that he learned even in anias, and Shevna didn't support him properly. And at the end of the time, I say the Chi'as Ravdimi Amar Hillel v'Shevna Achei Hava Hillel Asbutayra v'Shevna Avad Iska. Shevin was busy working and Hillel was learning, but he was an ani. Asayf Amalei, at the end of the day, he said, let's listen, I made money, I gave you some money, I'll give you a bunch of money and you give me some of your Torah. You're going to try to give away even all your property. In other words, it's like, and then you're going to be scorned for it. No, it's a galachter. Again, it's like when you invest on the ground floor, you can't walk into Microsoft and say, you know what, let me give you half your starting costs and we'll call it even. I think that's not how that works. If you give him half a starting cost when he's starting, then you get him on the ground floor. But you can't, right? So after Hillel became Hillel, You can't walk over to them and say, okay, how much did you need to live? I'll give you half of that. Well, I'll pay for your rent. I'll back pay your rent for the last 20 years, and I want half your sfosim. If you pay for his rent while he's learning and you give him the yeshiva, then you can claim some sfosim. But to walk in afterwards, it's already too late. So that's what this pasuk is talking about. Shevna, that he didn't support Hillel when he was supposed to, and that's what he ended up. That's what the pasuk is referring to. Amar ben Azai chayiv adon lamed. So Ben Azai learns in the story that the fact that the schus is Tyler, he says you to teach your daughter Torah. It's you taught her intimacy. You taught her arayas basically. Talking about tiflis like it's like you taught her tiflis. Why? I'm about my time there. Ani chachma shachanti arma. I am chachma. Torah is referring. It's referring to the Torah. Ani chachma and I dwell in like in like seichel, not seichel, but forget the right word. No, like not trickery, but like in lumdus, like in fine. Kivan shenichas hachma b'adam nichnas imay aramais. This way to knech and to be able to handle also it comes with learning Torah and with being a chacham. But Rabbanan, okay, so that's the problem according to Rabbi Eliezer. Now the question is, what does Ben Azai do with this pasuk? But Rabbanan, hi, ani chachma my avidle. What's he do with this pasuk? Ani chachma, right? No, aren't you teaching how to be a trickery? And the Gemara, Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina. The Amar Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina, ein de b'tayim miskayim el mishamam atzmi aram aleim shenema ani chachma shachanti arma. You have to mamish make yourself aram. In other words, aram means chachmadik, like it says the nachash was aram kol chayas, so it means chacham, but also means aram could be naked. So you have to make yourself aram and be machnia. It's different shatim whether you have to mamish like let go of all other worldly pursuits and you end up physically poor, or to make yourself poor. In other words, to run after every single person and learn whatever you could from every single person. You don't come in with a shtal. It's like, no, I'm not going to learn with him. He's a first-year guy. He's nothing to teach me. So that's two shatim in what Aram means. But either way, you see he uses the pasuk differently. He doesn't say it's not referring to trickery and negative. It's saying how Torah is you're how can you be kind of Torah. Amar Yechana is divrei Torah ein divrei Torah miskayim ela b'misha. Chachma comes from nowhere. In other words, from somewhere that is nowhere, that's where Chachma is found. This is the same passage that the same Rabbi Yochanan used that said, I think it was Dr. Gimel over here, that's what Kadosh Baruch Hu's hesed was on Moshe Rabbeinu, which is very apropos because Moshe Rabbeinu was the Shpitz Anava, and it makes sense that this drasha is the same, it's mamish the same. Yeah, it's somewhere behind the Gemara base. Okay, Ein Sham. But I thought it was very geschmack. I remember that it was from there, and it's a good sushtal because again, Moshe Rabbeinu was Shpitz Anava Mamish Ayin, and that's where Chachma comes from, and it makes sense that Rabbi Yochanan learns like this, and he also said that Akash Baruch Hu said that was his hesped by Moshe Rabbeinu. Rabbi Shua Aimer Ratza Isha. So what's his line? So it's interesting. The Meiri has a different gersa. So our Mishnah says. Rabbi Shua Aimer Ratza Isha b'kav v'tiflis mitishakav uprishas. Now, if you read that, it seems pretty obvious what he's saying. So the Gemara's kash is a little bit funny. The Meiri has a gears without the vav, so it reads, "Ratza isha kav b'kav tiflis." What's a kav of tiflis? How do you measure tiflis in kavim? It doesn't make sense. So then the Gemara asks, "What's he talking about?" Well, b'kav v'tiflis sounds like David Pasha. What he's saying? Right? So my ka'amar hachikamar. Ratza isha b'kav v'tiflis imay. Again, with our girsa, it's a little bit of a klutz kasha, but. Fine. Tisha Kavim were precious, but to have Tisha Kav, to have a lot of money in the bank and no relation with her husband, that is not something that a woman prefer. So Rashi makes the tushtal with this line of Rabbi Shua. It's a little bit random. He said because a woman doesn't want precious, she shouldn't learn Torah. I did not understand like that. When I learned it in the Mishnah, I understood that the hemshech was because of the tiflis part. We just spoke about if you teach your daughter Torah, you teach her tiflis. So Bishul comes in with another with another member of tiflis. Rashi says not like that. Rashi says in the Mishnah, I think Rashi says that the hemshech is that the Rashi is on the Mishnah. The hemshech is that it's precious. Precious for Isha is bad, so she shouldn't learn Torah, which will lead her to precious. That's according to Rashi. That's the Hamshach. Fine. Who hayamer chasid shaita? Hechidami chasid shaita. What's a chasid shaita? Going to tava itza benar. There's a famous line everyone knows that a woman's drowning in the river. Amar lav arich listakuli. I don't want to touch her. I don't want to look at her. So, Baba, I can't save her because I'm going to look at her. I'm going to come in contact. So I'm going to leave her alone. The Shalmi has another gears, so another case of a chassid shaita is somebody who's a kid is drowning in the river and he wants to take off his tefillin first so they don't get ruined. And meanwhile, the kid drowns. The Rishonim talk about it. The Maflik is Babin Shalmi. Okay, fine. Heichi dami Rasha Arab. Amar Yechanan zeha matim dvar the dying kodim sheyavay bal din chaveri. This is someone who schmoozes up the dayan before his friend comes to hear the other side, and to make it so that the dayan should hear his side first. Now, I don't know if someone points out that it obviously doesn't mean it's also for the dayan to accept his edus, this guy's story. So what does that mean? He says it before the dayan's even appointed. So he just like spreads the story maybe either directly to the dayan or just it makes it like a public zach. And I don't know. I'm adding that in. He doesn't say that it makes it a public zach. He said that he says it to the dayan before he becomes a dayan. That's what the I don't know if he brings that from Mishnah, but that's what it's brought down. I think in the Masechta says it, but it doesn't make sense to say that he mamish went over to the dayan because then why is the dayan out of Russia? This is a guy who he gives an ani a dinner. He gives ani a dinner, and like this he can't collect leket shechem peah. The Tanan misha yesh le'misayim zuz lo yitol leket shechem peah or ma'aser sheni ha'la misayim chatzah dinner afilu elf naisim leka'achas harei zayito. So if someone has, let's say $200, let's call $200. If someone has $180 in the bank, and you give him $1,000 check from Temcha Shabbos, he's allowed to cash it. But if he has if he has $200 in the bank, he can't even accept one pruta from Temcha Shabbos. So it's very interesting. So this guy, why is he doing it? Like, what's the incentive? Rashi says that he has a niyim kroivim, and he wants his aniyim kroivim to be able to get a bunch of free food from his leket shechem peah. So he gives it's kedai for him. He invests one dinner into this ani, and now all his kroivim could eat for free, and they don't have competition. The halacha is that if someone dies and leaves over, I'm not sure what the gather is, but the lashon of the Gemara is nechasim meruvim. If he has a lot of assets, so the sons get the money, and the estate feeds the daughters. But in a case where there's very little assets, the Gemara someone else says the share. I'm not sure exactly where that is, but there is a share that the Gemara discusses. But if there's not enough money for everyone to eat, then the daughters get fed, and the sons have to go knock on doors. This is a gzeir derabban. Some of the rice, the sons get the money, and the daughters five. But medin derabbanan, the sons get it. But the problem is, and we're going to see in the Mishnah says, because the ma'aser din deraisa is that they have a real kinyan on the property. They're able to sell the property and able to use the money. Metalton already is not meshubah to the daughters. The cash that they get is not meshubah to the daughters. So it's someone who advises the boys to sell like this is a Rosh Arm, and he's getting involved. It's not even his asik. Why is he getting involved in the bunch of Yisrael's dispute? Abai Amar Zeh Masich Eitzel Limkar B'Nechasim Kerab Shimon Gamliel the Tanya Nesachai Lecha VeAcharecha LePlani. If someone is dying, or Stam, he gives him a Tana to Ruvain and says, Ruvain, when you die, it should go to Shimon. And v'yorad arisha l'machar v'achal hasheni moitzim yad l'kuches. If Ruvain sells the property off to someone else, the Shimon can go collect from the l'kuches l'chara after Ruvain dies. Divrei Rebbe, Rav Shimon Gamliel ein l'sheni ela masher yishaya rishon. Sheni was only meant to get what the first guy leaves over. If he doesn't leave anything over because he sold it and he used the money, or the money doesn't go over to him, then he doesn't get anything. Which is like again the rishus here is that he's stripping his nose into something that has nothing to do with it, and he's making himself a baldavar. This is somebody who tries to get people to emulate his life and prav that he's a big kaddish, and he does this. Rashi explains so that no one should see that he's not behema, and that he's really not fearing in the right way. So he pravs like a big Rabbi Schwartz, so that no one's gonna obviously I don't mean to knock against Rebbe's, but he's pravs in a chashuv way so that it's going to be umdana that he's not a chaya. So no one's going to look at his meisim. I guess a Rav who was makel for himself and is machal for other people. That this is somebody who learns. He learns Tanakh and Mishnayos, but he doesn't learn other Chacham, so he doesn't know the svaras behind them. We had yesterday that a mayor wasn't able to. He learned the halacha by Rabbi Shmuel, and then he went to Rabbi Kiva for the svara. If you don't have the svara, then it's very nice. You have a psak over here, but you can't be maven taif from because everything has its svaras and everything's set up a certain way with certain kimtas and certain umdanas. So if you don't understand what the back end of the halacha is, you're gonna be all over the place. And you're gonna prav. The problem is again, the problem is the problem is that he pravs like he knows what he's talking about. If you just want to learn Mishnayos in your house and you don't want to, you don't paskin. I don't see the Torah calling you a Russia, right? We're handling over here Russia. Hey, Russia Aram. Why you call it Russia if you don't know how to paskin? You're not a Russia Aram. Over here, it's a guy who pravs like he's a big Talmud Chacham because he just throws out halachas all day, but he doesn't know the svaras, and he comes. Rabbi said a story, a story. A young Rav, just like self-appointed kind of with the younger crew in shul, and the guys were asking him shilas. So someone either heard something funny from him or just asked him like, "You're a Muslim? Like you learned by someone?" He goes, "No, Stam. I helped the other out." He goes, "I'm saying you don't know the halacha. Like what are you saying?" So he says it's a problem of kavod abrius. He says when they ask me a shilah, it's not kavod abrius. I should say I don't know. You understand what this guy's cup is? And he said, no, but you're giving them the wrong halacha. He goes, yeah, but roiv my psakim are okay. So he goes, basar roiv in a matzav of basar roiv, a matzav of kavod abrius, you could be makeup. This guy's his messiah. Fine, itma. So now we're going to go in this last line. We're going to analyze a little bit. A person like this is called Amaretz. I think Rashi says to the point where you're chayshish for, Rashi says it's not just a throwaway line like you make for some funny Amaretz. If you buy stuff from them, you have to take off two mices, not mices. Yeah. And for Taharis, I'm saying today Taharis it's not Indian, but it's a big deal. Rabbi Shmuel ben Nachmani Amar Hareza Bor. Rashi is even worse than Amaretz. Rabbi Yanai Amar Hareza Kusi, even less than that. Rabbi Acha bar Yaakov Amar Hareza Magos. He's a sorcerer. Amar Menachem bar Yitzchak Mistabek Rav Acha bar Yaakov that says he's a sorcerer. The Amar Inish Rotten Megoisha v'lo Yoda my Amar. The sorcerers, they say things and they don't understand the amkus always over their sorcery, but they understand. You say abracadabra and this thing jumps over there, so they don't understand like where it's coming from and how it works. When a Rav paskins a shaila, he says this is tar. There's a svara why this was tar and how he's getting to this psak. This guy's just plopping. He's just plopping halachas. Doesn't understand what's going on. So this guy also Tanitana v'lo yada mayama. He's just plopping halachas. Doesn't understand what he's talking about. Okay, let's just one more. If you don't say Kriya Shema Shachas Avos with the brachas, that makes you an Amaretz. If you don't put on tefillin. Rashi doesn't say anything about if you never put on tefillin, you missed tefillin once. I'm not sure what that means. If you don't have tzitzis on your beged, again, also I'm not sure what together that is. I'm going to look in the Masifta and I'll hopefully Chad with Mar. Rabbi Yonason ben Yosef Amar Kosher Yesh Lebanim ve'enim megadol limla Taurus. Even if a person he himself is not Chayra, but if he's not megadol his kids in Torah, he's Amaretz. Achem Amar Afilu Chayra v'Shayna v'Leishim Tamar Chacham. Zeu Amaretz. This is what we said. This is how we started this thing. That was the last line we finished off. It equates Zera Adam. He says like some people are like behemoths basically. They don't have Torah and they're not mishamish to mechacham, so they're not able to hear Zech correctly. Thank you for joining us. Be'ez Hashem, tomorrow we will continue in our journey in Sotah.
Love you, Mo. Have a great night.